going on, guys? John Evans here. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about ID camps or talent identification camps. They're real big in youth sports, particularly soccer right now. And it is summertime, so all the marketing, all these opportunities are opening up. And, you know, there's just a little bit of input I'd like to give before everybody starts booking up their summer calendar, so to speak. So, you know, the main thing with an ID camp or anything along the lines where they're going to do some sort of a combine, some sort of a skills assessment type of thing, the first question you have to ask is, are you ready to be identified? You get a lot of these young athletes or even athletes that might need a little bit more skill acquisition or really performance gains that are targeting these camps because of marketing or because their friends are going or whatever it is, and you know, they're probably not at the level, right? You have to be honest with yourself. Are you at the level to be identified? Don't go wasting your money on a camp. A lot of these are very expensive for this hope and dream that you're gonna get picked up at 12. You know, a lot of parents are put a lot of pressure in this environment, right? I mean, I had a parent not too long ago actually talk to me about putting together an entire speed program for a camp that's coming up here in August so that their child can perform at a high level in that camp and potentially get identified somewhere. And I know there's a plethora of opportunities at the youth level to potentially with soccer go overseas into Europe and things like that, but you know, deep down you have to ask yourself, what is it that you want to do here in the summertime? And I would imagine your time's not really well spent on planning everything around some sort of a 2-week, 1-week, 3-day ID camp scenario. So, you know, if I would say personally, if you're not participating within your own club, within your own team, even probably within your own area, in a high level of whatever competition it is, you know, for soccer specifically, it would be the Development Academy, DA. And even then, if you're not standing out amongst the people that you're regularly competing against, then are you really ready to be identified? You have to ask yourself that. You know, it's a tough question, and youth sports is hard for these kids these days because there's a ton of pressure being put on them, and there's a lot of competition, really. But you have to ask, are you ready to be looked at? Do you have the skill set to where somebody is going to want to identify you, give you an offer letter to college? You know, there's a lot of opportunities, like I said, overseas. If you're not there, you know, you have to have a tough conversation with, you know, parents to their kids or kids to their parents, however you want to go about it. But first and foremost, be honest with yourself. Are you ready to be looked at? Are you ready to be identified? And if you're not, that's okay. That's actually pretty much normal, and I would advise not getting looked at. Delay getting looked at for as long as possible. If you're truly that good to play at certain levels, people are going to find you. There is not a lot of athletes that participate in the peak levels of competition at the youth level or really professionally that just go unnoticed, right? Talent is talent, speed is speed, explosiveness is explosiveness, skill acquisition, skill work, the ability to reflect the skills you need to in your sport are things that people observe and are regularly looking for. So you might not need to pay to go get looked at, is kind of my first real main point of this video. You just get a lot of these marketing opportunities, really, in my opinion, where people are, you know, they want to spend $600 for a 3-day opportunity. And hey, you know, there's some college coaches here, or the technical director of the biggest club in town is going to be there observing, and we're in a smaller club, so maybe it'll get us an opportunity to play at one of the bigger clubs in town or make the DA team. But I mean, to me, development. It's okay if you're not ready to be identified. You don't have to play into all of this stuff here going on with these camps, this camp, let's do this residential, let's do that. What you need to do is focus on developing. Have a plan for your summer. Have a plan for what you want to do. You know, too many of these kids go into their summertime preparing for mostly just camps. And if that's you, man, I would advise to really consider and be honest with yourself with where you're at and be honest with your goals, and then put a plan together. You can't just hit some road work, hit some, you know, treadmill, whatever, running, exercising, so to speak, without training. You know, these camps cannot be the bulk of what you're doing. The summertime is beautiful time for gains in performance, improving speed, getting your body ready for the upcoming season here. And you know, actually, you know, the sins of summer get paid for in the winter. I really like that as a kind of a guideline of what you should be doing right now. Develop yourself, develop your athleticism, develop your skill. Do not focus so much on displaying anything here in the summer. Summer is meant for gains and for you to have fun, relax, take some time off. Youth sports are stressful right now for kids, so you know there's a lot of pressure on them to perform fall, winter, spring. Summertime, relax, acquire the skill, develop yourself, and you'll probably be better off in the long run. Getting identified at 12 in this country, obviously in Europe for soccer in particular, which I've been speaking on mostly, it's a different ball game, but getting identified or discovered here at 12, 13, 14 doesn't really mean much. You really want to focus on skill acquisition and development long term. It's a long game here. We want, you know, I don't like the term peaking, but if you're going to be peaking, or if you're going to be kind of increasing up to your performance up to a heightened level, 17, 18, 19 is where we really want to be targeting. There's no point in you wasting all this time in the summer if you're not ready. It's quite that simple. And, you know, don't really let these camps, you know, market to you. You know, pick a good one if you're going to do it. I know, probably knowing the youth sports community and the landscape, that camps are going to happen, and that's fine. I think you can get a lot from camps, but if you're going for talent identification specifically, you got to know what is it you're looking for, who's identifying you, who's training you, coaching you, and then what else are you going to get out of this experience. If it's just fun because a lot of your friends are going to be there, then fine, go for it. I think there's a lot of value in that too. Camp experience is great. But if you're going in with the intention of being discovered or looked at, especially at the younger levels, 11, you get some 9 and 10-year-olds, honestly, but 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, even 16 in my opinion. But I know once you get to that level, especially with kind of club sports that are not as high school heavy for participation, then at that point, yeah, you probably do need to be getting your name out, at least in your community. But yeah, you know, focus on the long game, focus on development, and be honest with yourself. It's a talent identification camp. It's an ID camp. If your talent in your competition throughout the year is not being displayed, reflected at a high level, and there are people on your team that are performing better than you, you know, doesn't mean that 4 years from now you're not going to be performing at a very, very high level. But don't go wasting time, valuable time in the summer, trying to get identified if you're not ready to be looked at. So that's it, guys. You know, I'll probably release a few more videos on camps in general. It's that time of year. But I wanted to get this one out there because I know, you know, that ID camp kind of buzzword is really getting a lot of people hooked. And if it's not something specific to your club, then I would recommend kind of being honest, having a real look at yourself, and kind of doing a little research, seeing if there's any value for yourself. But that's it. Talk to you guys next time.